Is this the life you want? Are you living a life that is everything you hoped it would be? Are you feeling radically fulfilled by your job, your partner, your friends, your community, your home? Are you living an existence that is making you shine, glow from within, feel radically grateful for all that's happening to you? If not, why not? What is keeping you from living a joyfully, radically brilliant life? These are the questions I want to explore in today's video. So if we haven't met before, hey, nice to meet you. I'm Kay. I'm an ecstatic spiritual life coach, author of the book Journey to the Ecstatic Self, a workbook for settling into your skin, cultivating authenticity, and reconnecting with your radiant self. And also the new book, I Dreamt a Flight, a gay fantasy novel, or I should say more of a memoir / story inspired by my earlier life. These questions that I'm posing about joyfulness, satisfaction, inner radiance, a deep sense of contentment of being where you are and loving where you are and being where you want to be is something that I personally wrangle with every day and also every week with my clients that I work one-on-one with. Because the truth is, you are entitled to living a blissful, joyful life. You are deserving of living a life where you are celebrating what happens pretty much every day. Now, that doesn't mean it's always easy, doesn't mean that everybody always is perfect to you, but to live in a state where you are deeply, deeply grateful for the life you're living is not only possible, but it's what you deserve. So if you aren't saying an enthusiastic yes to my questions at the beginning of this video, then we need to take a look at why. And one of the first things I always encourage people to look at is, where are you placing your values? And are those values based on what other people tell you you should be doing and how you should be living and what you should be achieving? Or are they values that you have cultivated from within? From asking internal questions about what really matters to me, what really brings me joy, what really brings me satisfaction. So for example, when I was a younger person, I was very much pursuing a career as an actor. I was told by my family and friends that that would make me happy, that that would bring me satisfaction. They saw that I enjoyed acting, they saw I enjoyed performing, and they told me this is how you find a good life. So I did what they said. I went to Northwestern University, studied acting, studied at the Second City, did one-on-one coaching for years and years, worked in Chicago, did national tours, ended up in LA thinking that was the culmination of my dreams and everything I hoped it would be. But looked around and realized that there was nobody there who had a life that inspired me, that I thought, gosh, I want to be you, I want to have this kind of existence. There was nobody that made me think I would be really fulfilled continuing in this life path. And when I looked hard at myself, I realized I was actually really miserable in the career of an actor. The lifestyle didn't suit me, the constant rejection, the constant uncertainty of work, the needing other people's approval, needing other people's permission to be able to create art. Like dealing with a type of individuals who worked in the arts that did not jive with my mellowness and my desire for intimacy, vulnerability, communication, where it was all about performing, presenting a front. Like I didn't want that. I thought I did, but I hadn't really gone deep enough within to examine, was this an external thing? Was I searching for external validation based on what other people said would make me happy? Versus, was it something intrinsically aligned with me and my desires? So what did I do? I left LA, moved in with my then fiance, now husband. I stopped acting. I started writing, where I could write whatever I want and didn't need other people's permission to tell me it was good enough or tell me when I could create. I stopped moving from looking at external things and started moving towards the internal, started working with people one-on-one on their own development and their own personal growth, and found immense satisfaction in that. But it took a deep reflection on, what do I really want? Am I doing this because it brings me joy, or am I doing it because other people tell me I should? And that is not always an easy question to answer, but I think it's a really good place to start. If you are finding that you are not living the joyful, radiant, exuberant life you want, perhaps you're living a life that other people decided you should live, rather one for yourself. Another question that comes to mind regarding living an exuberant and joyful life is, are you feeling good in yourself? Like, are you feeling good in your body? Are you taking time to nourish yourself? Are you taking naps? Are you taking baths? Are you exercising? Are you not only lifting weights, because that's great, but if you only do that, it's going to make you super tense. Are you also stretching, doing yoga, doing tai chi, qigong, doing things that put you into your body, connects you with it, pulls you into your breath, gets you aware of the flow of things inside? Are you eating well? Are you eating nourishing foods, not just the right number of calories, but are you eating live foods, things that have, recently come from the earth or come from a living source rather than something that's been processed and frozen and dried? Are you eating chocolate? Another important thing, chocolate, very good. Are you making love with yourself or with another person or a group of people? Are you doing things to put you in a place where you feel delicious in your body? Because if you are disconnected with your body, and I know I've been talking about this a lot in recent videos, but if you're disconnected with your body, it's going to be hard to have a joyful experience of life, because while we are not these bodies and not these minds, we are these spirits that inhabit them. They are our vessels for experiencing life. And if we are not well in body and mind, it's hard to be well in spirit. So are you taking care of your physical form? Are you getting 8 hours of sleep a night? Are you being kind to yourself? Are you treating yourself with loving compassion? Because that's another thing. Another necessity for a radically joyful life is, do you have realistic expectations? If you are someone like I was when I was younger, of wanting something absolutely phenomenal in order to feel okay, like maybe you say, I will only be happy if I have $10 million in the bank. I will only be happy if I have 6-pack abs year round. I will only be happy if I reach president level at my company. I will only be happy if I write a New York Times bestselling book. If you are waiting on something that likely will never happen, not saying it's not impossible, I do think we're able to achieve a lot of many things, but if you're waiting on achieving some arbitrary gold ring in the future in order to allow yourself to really enjoy life, that's a very dangerous position to be in, because you may get that ring and then realize it's not everything I hoped it would be. It's not nearly as satisfying as I thought. And if this didn't bring me satisfaction after I've worked years and years and years to get it, then will anything? It's part of the reason that there's such a high level of burnout, suicide, drug abuse in the quote-unquote highly successful community. When you look at celebrities and influencers and CEOs, is people spend their whole life thinking, if I get this thing finally, I'll find satisfaction within, and then they get there and realize that it ended up being pretty hollow. And it's like, not only did I waste all my life trying to get this, but if it isn't this, I'm still not happy, then will anything ever finally do it? Another question I have for you is, are you taking time to be in silence every day? Our world doesn't like silence. Our world likes videos, TikToks, Instagram, DMs, emails, phone calls, text messages. We live in a world that very, very hard strives to disconnect you from a quiet, self-observant state. And that is a really hard thing for our nervous system and our emotional and mental well-being. So are you taking time every single day, at least once a day, ideally multiple times a day, to separate from your devices, to sit quietly within, and just observe? A lot of people think of meditation as being something exotic and intense, something that you have to do in a very specific way, but really it's just self-observation, becoming aware of your breath, becoming aware of your body, focusing your mind on something. It could be a focal point, it could be a piece of artwork, a flower, it could be your heart, your third eye, your belly, it could be a mantra, it could be a visualization. It doesn't really matter. It could be an exploration of self-touch, giving yourself a massage very presently, or even self-pleasuring. Giving ourselves time in silence gives our senses an opportunity to kind of declutter themselves, to restart, that they've been saturated by all this stimuli. It gives our brain an opportunity to build new neural pathways. If you do not take time in silence daily, you are going to be highly stressed, agitated, and it's going to prevent you from living your best life. It's going to prevent you from being fully aware of what's going on within. So I highly recommend cultivating a state of quiet every so often. If you don't feel like you're living an exuberant life, another thing to be aware of is, are you connected with things that feel meaningful? It's very easy for life to impose values on us, to say that you should care about your car, your waistline, your tan, things that may or may not actually matter. So are you taking time regularly to engage with things that actually fulfill you, that actually fill you with juiciness inside? So I know for myself, 2 of those things are spending time in nature, spending time outdoors, and taking time to read. Like a physical book, not just news articles, because that triggers something else in my head. It's such a simple thing, but when I take time every day to grab a book, read a little bit, and take my dog outside, go be in nature, go for a walk, I enjoy life so much more. And as somebody who has spent most of his life living in highly urban environments, you know, it was something I would have to go seek out. I would have to go find a nice big park that gave me that true feeling of being in nature. But if you're not doing those things, and I'm going to guess these things are also probably not technologically driven. I know people find satisfaction in video games and TV shows, but they don't really allow our brain to defrag in the way that they need to. You're probably going to be stressed out. You're probably going to be agitated. It's going to be hard to feel grateful for your life. And then the last thing I want to suggest today is if you're not living the life that you want to be, are you actively working to cultivate the one that you do? Now, it's totally fair to say, I don't know what I want my life to be like. I just know it's not this. Fine, we've all been there. But are you taking the time, are you doing the work to get specific about saying, I really want to experience a life where A, B, and C are my everyday happenings? I want to live a life where I'm in partnership with somebody who loves me absolutely deeply from their fingers to their toes to their hair follicles, that think I'm the most amazing thing they've ever met. I want to be doing work that's fulfilling, that I feel nourished by, that I feel passionate about, that's creative and stimulating to me, where I get to work with people that I really enjoy. I want to live in a place that I find beautiful and meaningful and connects me with nature, connects me with water, connects me with a beautiful city. Like, are you aware of the things that you actually do want? And not that we need to micromanage our lives and try to make it take a specific outcome or be an exact certain way, but we should have a compass direction to work towards. We should have something to say, maybe I don't know specifics, but I know it's headed that way. And when we can get clearer and clearer about what it is we actually want, then it becomes easier to start finding it. Our brains are amazing problem-solving machines. They do a fantastic job at pattern recognition. So when we give our brain this thing and say, hey, I'm looking for something that kind of looks like a zebra, our brain is going to be on the outlook for anything that looks kind of like a zebra. And you're going to start finding solutions to these questions so much more easily just because you've identified what they are. If you're living in this nebulous space where you don't really know what you're looking for, you just want something different, then your brain's going to be seeking all different kind of stimuli that may or may not be helpful. So you don't need to know exactly, and it's probably best not to get caught up on there being one perfect outcome or two perfect outcomes, but instead say, hey, I want to move in this direction. Let's figure out what that's like. And sometimes figuring that out requires the help of a therapist or a coach or a mentor or a guide of some kind, in which case there's lots of wonderful people to advise and help you with that. But these are really the things that we need to do, and it's not just do them once and be done, but we need to do it on a regular basis because we change, we evolve, our understandings of ourselves, our longings, our who we are evolves and changes, so we constantly have to be in recalibration with, is this the life I want? Is this the partnership I want? Is this the job I want? And ideally, you're having those conversations with the people who you work with your partners, with your home space, so that way they can grow and evolve with you. You can say to your partner saying, hey, I'm curious about A, B, and C, and they can say, great, let's explore that together, so that way you evolve and grow together. But if you're not having the life you want, then that's on you, right? Things happen to us. Things always happen to us. Hurricanes, floods, horrible bosses, axe murderers, it all happens. Hopefully none of those things for you, but they exist out there. But still, it's your life. Own it. At the end of your life, wouldn't it be tragic if you spend it saying, oh, I didn't have the experience I wanted because of my mother, because of that boss I had, because of this thing that happened to me in 4th grade. Fuck that. This is your life. Own it and cultivate the life you want, because you deserve it. You deserve to be happy, fulfilled, and radically, enthusiastically enjoying your life every day, and most days. And if not, do what you need to do to be okay. I'm Kay, this is Ecstatic Self. If you ever need more help on this journey, feel free to reach out to work one-on-one with me. If you love this work I'm doing, feel free to support me via Patreon. You can also dive deeper with my Twitter account, my OnlyFans, my books, and try to offer a little bit of everything for however somebody wants to connect. Blessings to you.